Grandpa, go ahead and tell us your name.
Talk my name?
Yeah, tell us your name, your full name.
Okay. Orlin, Everett, Clarquist.
Okay, and where you were born and on what day?
In Hoffman, Minnesota, July the 29th, 1917.
And where were you born? Were you born in a hospital or
Oh, I was born in a house on
a
a
house?
farm.
Okay. And who are your parents? Their
Oh,
full names.
my dad's name was Theodore Lewis Clarquist,
Okay.
and my mother's name was Emmy Clarquist.
Okay. Sequel.
Originally sequel, yeah.
Okay. And then all of your brothers and sisters, you don't have, not their full names, but in the order.
I have an older brother,
Okay.
Raymond,
Uh-huh.
and three younger sisters, Dorothy, Lorraine, and Ethel.
Okay. And then you had one older brother.
I have one older brother from my dad's first wife,
Okay.
named Joe.
Named Joe. Okay. And then where were your grandparents from?
My my dad's side, my granddad was from Sweden,
Okay.
and my mother's dad was from Germany.
Okay. And what about their wives? Their wives.
Their wives,
Yeah.
I don't know the name of my mother's dad's wife offhand.
Okay. It goes back a ways.
And my dad's mother, I don't know her name.
Okay. Okay. Not a problem. Okay. Let's see. Where did you go to school?
I went to first and grade up in Minnesota in a country school,
Oh, you did.
one-room school.
Okay.
We walked to school about a mile and a half. We had a number of experiences while we were doing that. A grader on the road gave us some plug tobacco one day while we got sick, which was kind of humorous at the time.
Didn't you have to go out a window or something and get sick? Did that happen to you? Where you took the tobacco and got sick and had to go out the window at the schoolhouse or something?
No,
No?
I didn't do that.
No? Okay. Thought you'd mention that.
No.
Okay. Any other stories?
Well, we went to the fair once with my uncle's in a touring car,
Uh-huh.
and I sat between my two we got home from the fair that day, I was feeling pretty, for a little kid, I was feeling
Yeah.
kind of funny. They took me out to the boat, so
That reminds me, tell us the story of when you were a little boy on the windmill.
on the windmill.
Yeah, on the farm.
I was about 3 years old, and I used to like to climb, so I climbed up to about a 40 or 50 foot windmill, and sat on the platform on the top and dangled my legs back and forth. My mother saw me and got hysterical. Called her husband's dad, and he got talking to me real nonchalant and told me, just get up and turn around and come on back down, which I did.
And how old were you?
I was 3 years old at
Wow.
the time. My mother said I was.
Wow. And your parents were farmers, right?
Yes, we were living on the farm. We had a lake down in front of the farm. We used to, my brother and I used to get down there and skinny dipping. We had a log down there we used to ride.
Uh-huh. And and they
That's
were
where I slid down the hillside on the sled and got the scar on my left cheek
from a fence.
from the fence, through a barbed wire fence.
Okay. And how old were you about then?
I was 3.5 or so. About the same time.
You're dangerous.
I lived dangerously.
And they were milk farmers, right?
Yeah, we farmed and milk and grain.
Mm-hmm. Now, at this stage, were you you were still in Minnesota?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
so about second grade, the farm went bust on had a bad growing season, and my dad didn't make any money, so he sold out what he had, and his uncle down, or a cousin down in Beloit, Wisconsin, told him to come down there and go to work. And so he packed up and went down there.
And you were about how old?
I was second grade, I suppose. I started when I was 6 years old.
Okay. And so then when you went down, you guys went to Beloit?
Yeah, Beloit, Wisconsin.
Okay, so then they farmed there for a while?
We stayed there about a year, and then my dad didn't like it, so he got a job on a farm up at Lake Geneva.
Oh, okay.
Got a farmer's, so we moved up there.
Okay. And so then you started going to school in Lake Geneva.
Yeah,
And
not in town, a country school out in the country.
until what grade? Okay, until like 8th or 9th.
Went through 8th grade there at that school.
Okay, and then you went to the high school in town.
Lake Geneva High.
Okay, in town.
4 grades, yeah.
And
we're still on the farm.
And what year did you graduate?
I graduated in 1935.
Okay. And then what happened after that? What did you do after that?
We worked on the farm. Ray and I and my dad, my oldest brother, Joe, he had left because Dad couldn't pay anything, so he wanted to go and make money.
Okay.
So he left and worked on another farm.
Okay.
And we kept working. Finally, Ray and I said, well, we never got any money when we was up to 18 years old. We figured we should get something for all our work.
Yeah.
So Dad sold out, and then we moved into Lake Geneva proper in the town.
And when your dad lived in town, and when you all lived in town, what did your dad do for a living?
Then he was sold house to house sweepers, picking up.
Oh, really? That you? Really?
Electrolux, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And then, and so after you graduated high school, you lived in town with them. And what did you do for a living?
And I had done some drawing, and I liked drawing. I got a job at Walter Weisner's studio.
Okay, and how much did he pay you?
Paid me $10 a week to start.
Okay.
Which was pretty good.
Yeah.
And after I'd worked there a week, I came down to the bumps.
Mm-hmm.
So I was home for 2 weeks. And then I went back to work, and after working another week or so, I got $12 a week.
Okay.
My work was pretty good. So.
And so during that time when you were working and living at home, what did you do for your free time? Like, what did you do for fun?
I built some models then, airplane model, rubber power, and roller skated at night.
Uh-huh. Okay, so that leads me to my next question is, how did you meet your wife?
That's where I met my wife, up at the roller rink.
Tell us,
Sullivan roller rink.
and tell us that story.
Well, first she was going with my brother for a while.
How long do you know?
About a year or so, at least.
Okay.
And finally,
Your brother Ray, correct?
my older brother Ray.
Okay.
And he worked in a garage in town and couldn't come up skating very much. So one night he missed a date that he was supposed to have, so I took her home.
Uh-huh.
And that changed things then. She switched boyfriends from my brother to me.
And when you guys skated at the roller rink, it was in the Delavan roller rink, stories of stuff that happened there?
Well, I got to where I could handle a pair of skates pretty good.
Uh-huh.
I'd go out in the middle and twirl around,
Uh-huh.
dance on skates. And then
Uh-huh.
at the time, Tia did not know that I was Ray's brother.
Uh-huh.
She thought another fellow up there looked more like Ray than I did, so she didn't know it.
Uh-huh.
So I told her.
And then what happened in the bathroom? Because she went into the bathroom.
Oh, yeah, she went in, and one girl in there that I dated one time said I was an old cold potato. And Tia said, well, he's my boyfriend now. She embarrassed them all.
Um, and then, okay, so tell Grandma's full name. Grandma's full name before she married you.
Oh, Tia.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, it was Lucille Elaine Clarquist, or Shamble.
Uh-huh. Okay. And then
She never liked the name Lucille.
Mhm.
And when she started talking, they thought she was saying Tia, so she picked up the name Tia.
Okay.
And that's how she picked that up, and it's even on her tombstone today.
Okay. And so how long did you date Grandma before you got married?
We dated about 3 months before we got married.
And how did you propose to her? You remember?
No, I don't think it was any official.
You kind of agreed on it.
We talked about getting married in the fall.
Uh-huh.
This was in June.
Okay.
And then I had a draft notice to go into the service. And they upped the induction date. So we upped the marriage date.
And
So we got married the 21st of July.
okay. And who was in your wedding?
And the wedding party was the preacher and his wife, and Bob Dunnett. He stood up for me, best man.
And who was Bob Dunnett?
My sister was stood up for
Okay.
bridesmaid.
And who's Bob Dunnett?
He was just a friend of mine from Lake Geneva.
Okay. And which sister stood up for you?
And my oldest sister Dorothy stood up.
Okay. And then
That was our wedding party.
and where was the wedding?
At the parsonage and at the church.
In Lake Geneva?
Yeah.
Okay. And where did you go after the wedding for dinner?
We went to Milwaukee for dinner.
Wasn't it Heaven
On the
City?
way at the restaurant on the way in.
It was Heaven City, right?
Heaven
Okay, that's a real nice restaurant now. Yeah, it's real nice. Okay, and so then how long were you married before you had to leave for the war? Or before camp?
For service,
Yeah.
we got married the 21st, and morning of the 24th, I left for service.
That's fast honeymoon.
We took from the courthouse in Elkhorn, took a bus and went to Milwaukee.
Okay.
We had our physical up there, and then we got sworn in. Raise your right hand. And we had our complete physical. And we're sworn in, and then we took a train back toward Camp Grant down by Rockford for where they distributed all of them into different service branches.
Okay.
And I was an artist. They thought I was an engineer. And I said, no. Well, they said, yes, you are. So they sent me to Fort Belvoir, Virginia, to engineering camp out there.
Okay.
So I left about a week later for Fort Belvoir, Virginia.
Okay.
We've been married a week and a half.
Wow. Wow. So how long were you down there at that
And we were, that was a 3 months training, food training, then I call it, or camp,
Okay.
basic training.
Okay.
And we took everything from digging tank traps to blowing up mines and all that kind of stuff, which was out of my realm of work, because I was an artist.
Yeah.
And but I went through that. From there, we went to maneuvers down in Carolina, maneuvers, they called them.
I guess I should, before you go any further, I should ask you what year this was. Because you said you were married July, but we didn't say what year.
Oh, the year was 1941.
Right. Okay.
Everything happened in 3 days. I got married the 21st, went in the service the 24th, and had a birthday the 29th.
Wow. Wow. And then, so then you were down at this camp.
Went down the camp, but there we didn't do it. We'd done some close order drill, marching,
Okay.
that stuff, but got all of our equipment and our clothes, shoes, boots,
Okay.
and then we went, being it was July, we didn't have the khakis, but we had the real light beige uniform.
Okay. And so then what happened after that?
Then after we went to Fort Belvoir and down basic training, went to Carolina maneuvers. That was on the way down to Camp Beauregard, Louisiana.
Okay.
So we went down there by truck.
Okay.
And when we were stationed there is when December 7th, the war broke out in
When you were at camp, Camp Beauregard, when you were at Camp Beauregard,
yeah,
that's when
Camp Beauregard.
that's when then Pearl Harbor was bombed.
Yeah.
Okay.
When they,
So when Pearl Harbor was bombed and you were at that camp, what was the reaction? I mean, where were you and what happened? What was everybody saying?
I was in the tent there. Then we had tents that were wood part the way up and then canvas roof on them. And we were in there, 2 or 3 plus fellows, and as soon as we heard that on the radio, and then they came over the loudspeaker, everything was canceled. They said everyone had to return to base, so it was out of camp, and everyone in camp had to stay in camp.
And what were the guys like at the camp when that happened? I mean,
Well, I was in 88th Engineers then, which was a pontoon building outfit. I got out of that after a little while. Thanks to Tia. She met a man that was a driver for a Colonel Patillo. And she was surprised to see him, and he was surprised to see her. And he thought that she married Ray, my brother. And she said, no, I married Orlin. And he asked me where I was, and I asked her where I was, and she told him. And he says, well, the colonel that he drove for was looking for artists. And being he knew I was an artist, he set up an appointment with the colonel for me to go see him. And within 3 days, I was out of my old outfit and in a new outfit.
And that probably saved your life.
After making $21 a month, and they were giving out ranks pretty freely, I went to staff sergeant in about a month and a half.
Wow.
I went from private to corporal, and I missed sergeant and went to staff sergeant.
Wow. And how much did you make
And
then?
then I made basic $96 a month
Wow.
instead of 21.
Wow.
And then you got being your first 3 grader, they called it for sergeant. They gave me $30 46. And then, of course, when I went overseas, I got overseas pay.
You were making more than if you
So
would.
I was making about 140 or 50 then.
That's pretty good compared to when you were working at home in the studio.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, yeah.
and oh, I was going to ask you something else. Oh, how did Grandma was down at camp when all that happened, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so originally you were probably going to ship out to the Pacific, but because of this change, you were put into the engineering corps, which probably saved your life.
The 5th Corps headquarters were building up to go over to Europe,
Mm-hmm.
which I didn't know when I went in there, but I found out.
Mm-hmm.
And when we went over in April of 42, we went to Northern Ireland.
Okay. And what did you do there?
And we were setting up a base camp to bring more soldiers over to that area.
Okay. And when you set up a base camp, what did you do?
Well, I was just doing some drawings and of buildings that they needed from Quonset hut, what they call it, Quonset hut,
Okay.
which is a half circle hut.
Okay.
And we were in Northern Ireland then for 6 months. And then we went to England, went across overseas there to England.
And you took a ship over?
Yeah, a little boat, yeah.
When,
It wasn't a real big one.
when I should back up, how did you get to Northern Ireland? Did you fly and then take a ship?
No,
Or?
we took a British ship.
Oh, okay.
Cathay was the name of it.
Okay.
Run by Indians, not American Indians, but from India. They've
Okay.
done most of the cooking and cleaning. They
Okay.
didn't run the ship, but they done that. And then one foggy night we got lost. We were in a convoy of about 28 or so. A couple battleships and cruisers. And the big fog set in and everyone slowed down. We slowed down too much. And in the morning we were setting all alone, not a ship around us.
Perfect target.
And target for the German U-boats. But we had life vests. We had one 3-inch gun on board. A couple depth charges, and that was it.
Uh-huh.
But in the evening, we saw the light flashing in the distance,
Mm-hmm.
And they sent a destroyer back to pick us up. They missed us.
Wow.
Took us 2 days to catch up with them.
Wow. But that was a nervous 2 days.
Yeah.
And so that's where you started setting up this camp.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were there just doing that part of it. And then when they started moving more troops over there, we left and went into England, to Bristol, England.
And what did you do in Bristol, England?
Just training and some basic drawing artwork, but not much. Some maps, stuff like that, which we're being in the engineering section. And after about 1943, about a year, they were planning the invasion from France.
Okay.
That's where I got involved in that. Being I was a modeler and an artist, and Colonel knew that he sent Jim Larson and I to a British school to learn how to make relief models.
And where was that school
That
at?
was on Henley on the Thames River, a real summer resort.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful place.
Yeah, I've heard.
And
Rough life in that army.
yeah,
Huh?
that was, they'd wake us up in the morning with a cup of tea. Women and all that.
And you were getting paid for this.
And didn't have to stand in any formation to see that.
And so this was while you were at a school. You were learning.
That's where we learned how to make relief models.
Okay.
And at the time, they were planning on me and Jim to set up a component of people that make them relief models. So we were responsible for that.
And how long were you at this school?
We were about 6 weeks at the school.
Okay. And then when you left the school, where did you go?
Then we went back to our base camp there in Bristol, England.
Okay.
And then they were thinking of moving more south of there, so we moved down to Taunton, which is a smaller town south. That would be south to the east of Bristol.
Okay.
And that's where we set up to make the relief model for the invasion.
Okay.
And
So
we worked on that for about 3 months.
the models of the invasion.
Model, yeah.
And so when you were making these models, where were you making them?
We
Because
were
I'm
in a building that was sealed off, and we had a guard watching over it all the time. We had to show passes to get in, and we wouldn't let anyone in that didn't have the pass, the right pass anyway.
And didn't didn't something happen where they
Well, there was a major that wanted to get in, and being I was a ranking off non-com, they called me, and I asked for the pass, had to be a special pass, and he says, well, I don't need that, I'm a major so whatever his name was. And I said, well, then sorry, you can't come in. And he says, well, I'll have your stripes, he says. And nothing happened, nothing. So I don't know to this day whether it was a set up deal or what it was.
And so when you were making these models, I've heard, I don't know if you told me or someone else told me or whatever, but I heard that they would bring you in pictures or something.
Yeah. We had model maps out of France showing contours, that's the elevation of the hills and the land. And the 9th Air Force took pictures. They had a stereo camera in their airplane. They could fly over and take 2 pictures of that you give them a stereo pair to give us depth of height.
Okay.
And we had that. And we worked 3 months, and then we made 2 small models, one for each division. The first and big red division, like the movie you got me, and the 29th division, the blue and gray. But that we didn't take in as much area, just the beach area itself.
Okay. And so after these models were complete, did people come and look at them or inspect them?
Well, they were made for the people in high, colonels, generals, that were planning the invasion, and they'd use that to tell heights from the top of the hill to a valley. They could see what was in the line of sight.
Do you remember what month and year that you were making these models?
Yeah.
What
We
month?
made that in the spring of '44.
Okay.
We started about February, and by April we finished it up, and then they planned on the models after that.
So you knew that there was going to be an invasion, and you knew where it was going to be, but you just didn't know the
But I
time.
didn't know the time.
The
I
time.
knew the place and the location, but I did not know the date that we were going in.
And so when you were finished doing the models and that was all over with, where did you go after that? Did you stay there for a while, making more models, or did you leave and go somewhere else?
We didn't make no more models, but
Okay.
we did stay there
Okay.
until they down to what they call a marshalling area, where everyone was going in with all the machinery and the tanks and the trucks.
So you, by that you mean you stayed there until December, or you stayed there?
No, we stayed there till May.
Okay.
The end of May, when we went down to the marshalling area, about a week before we boarded the boats to go to France.
Okay. So when you were headed over to France, did you know at that time that you were headed over to go to an invasion, or
Oh, yeah.
they just loaded you on the boat?
No, I knew we were going on the invasion.
Okay. And did everybody know when they were on the boat? Did everybody know they were going to?
When they issued us French money, most of them knew where we were going.
Oh, because you guys had done the model.
But they didn't know the exact location.
Okay, so I'm confused, so I'm going to ask this. When you were on the boat, you were with probably hundreds of other men or thousands of other men.
I was on an LST,
Okay.
landing ship tank. That was a big, pretty good sized ship where the front end opened up and they could take tanks in and out.
Okay. So when you were on the boat and they gave you French money, you knew, because you'd done the models, that you were probably headed over to invade.
I knew where we were going to.
Yeah. But a lot of the men on the ship, they figured they were going to invade, but they didn't know where or when or...
They knew it was France, but they didn't know the beachhead like I did.
Okay, so everybody on that boat knew that it was France, but nobody really, except the people that developed the models, knew that it was on those beaches.
But there was others in the headquarters that knew it too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, when did you board the boat? In May?
Well, but we went down to the marshalling area about a week and a half before we boarded the boat. So,
Okay.
and we boarded the boats on June 3rd,
Okay.
2nd or 3rd.
Okay. And so you took the boat over, and what happened
Well,
then?
we started out the night before. We were going to invade on the 5th, but it was too rough, so they called it off, stopped, went back, and then we went out again the next night, the night of the 5th, and then they kept going that night. They didn't. So we knew it was on.
Mm-hmm. And what was the talk? Was there any talk on the boat or on the ship? Did anybody?
Yeah. We visited and talked, and
What was going to happen? And,
as far as we knew, we were supposed to go in D+2 2 days after the invasion. but being they were having such a hard time of it, they needed anyone that had a rifle. So they sent a lot of men in that shouldn't have went in.
That weren't properly trained or...
Well, we were trained, but we didn't have we were the high command that we shouldn't have even been in on it. They lose that, they lose all their personnel, officer personnel.
Yeah. Okay, so you get to the beach, and what happens from there?
Well, we was headed to the beach, and the beach was so loaded with blowing up ship or landing craft and tanks and other debris that they dropped us out in the water about 80 yards, and we had to swim in before we could touch bottom.
And this beach was which beach?
This is Omaha Beach, bloody Omaha. The worst beach of all five of them.
And you went in on which wave?
Oh, I'm just guessing at that. I'd say third or fourth wave.
Okay.
But we left the main boat about 9:30 in the morning, 9 o'clock. It was 10 miles out, so it took a while to get in
No, I bet.
before we dropped off.
Wow. Wow.
And it was good that they dropped us out, because then we could all spread out. And he and I worked on the models. I knew where to go, what direction to go, because I knew where the Germans had built a trench out there by the edge of the beach.
And what was the weather like, and what happened?
Oh, it was still cloudy, but it wasn't quite as rough on the water, although a lot of got seasick. I didn't. It didn't bother me any.
What happened your first attempt down the ship to get into the water?
Oh, we was climbing down the rubber, or the rope, big wide rope ladders they had on the outside of the boat, climbing down into the dock. We was going to take a duck in, and it was too rough water evidently, because it started taking water out and started to sink. So we went back up on top of the boat, and the duck did sink. It went down. So then we waited, and I sent around an LCI. That was a landing craft where the front end went down. And we went in on that. That's what we rolled in.
So you rode in, and then they dropped you off in the water.
Probably 60, 80 of us in that.
Uh-huh. And you lost one person in the water, correct?
Out of our section, we had one fellow that drowned. He had his life vest up under his armpit, that's what happened.
And so how deep was this water that they let you off in?
Well, I don't know. We couldn't touch bottom. I suppose it was
Pretty
20
deep.
feet, maybe, or so.
Yeah. And
And we just swam until we could start touching the bottom, and then we could start propelling ourselves with our feet.
and then you mentioned that because you did the models, it helped you know where to go.
I knew where to head. Or
so how did you cross the beach?
and then once we got up to where they had those underwater obstacles and that, we used those for cover. And then when I got up to the sand part, mostly sand, they were throwing in artillery and other, you know,
Machine
explosions.
gun, machine gun fire, right?
And then they started raking the beach with machine guns.
Wow.
That was the real scary part.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'd go from, when I figured they'd pass me by with a machine gun, I'd go into another shell hole. And I finally got across the beach safely.
How long do you think it took you to cross that beach?
Oh, half hour at least, maybe.
Wow.
Time I got across to it. And I pretty well figured out where it was a trench that the Germans had built. And so I hoped it would have been out of the Germans, which it was. There was a couple of our guys in there, and so I jumped in that. They were glad to see me. Purnell was one of them, and made it across. And out of our engineering section, we only lost one man, and that was pretty good for
Yeah, to drowning, right?
yeah. And he drowned.
And when you were crossing the beach, I know you said this in a newspaper article, but when you were crossing the beach, you said that there were lots of wounded and fatalities on the beach, and that they were all asking for help, but the MP said keep going because if you...
Yeah, the medics said, get off the beach, get off the beach, or we'll have just
even
hundreds
more.
more to take care of. So
Yeah.
they were glad to see if anybody could get off the beach,
Okay.
which, of course, nobody wanted to get off the beach anymore, and I did.
Right. Well, it's kind of, you were stuck. You couldn't go back into the water. You had to cross the beach. So you had to go.
I had to go,
Yeah.
but I had to do it in pieces, more or less.
Yeah.
You couldn't just get up and run. You had to pick your spots when you got up to move ahead.
And we were talking earlier before we started filming about the article article we were reading, and there were, I think, 6 different beaches along
There was 5 beaches.
the coast. 5 beaches along the coast.
Northernmost beach was Utah Beach. They had a pretty easier time getting in. And there was Omaha. That's the 2 American beaches.
And out of, there was how many casualties, and all of them, or most of them, were on Omaha?
4,600 casualties that first day on all 5 beaches. And Omaha Beach had 4,000 of them.
Wow.
So you can see how bloody Omaha Beach was.
I'm glad that you made it.
Yeah. I wouldn't be here.
I wouldn't
You
be
wouldn't be
here.
here.
Okay, and so you got across the beach, and you knew where to go, and
We stayed there all night down there.
okay,
We didn't have any change of clothes because they were in our pack and they were wet. The clothes we had on was wet.
did you lose anything along the way?
Yeah, I lost the gas mask.
Oh yeah, okay. And you said that you got another one.
We had a gas scare the next day.
Uh-huh.
It was a smoke bomb. It wasn't a gas bomb.
Uh-huh.
And we thought it was a gas.
Uh-huh.
And me without a gas mask, I was breathing through an impregnated sock, along with a couple other guys. And after that was over with, the second day, it mortar fire that wasn't quite as direct and accurate. I went down and picked up a gas mask and floated on the water on the beach.
Uh-huh.
And it had somebody else's picture and name in it. I didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And but I kept that and carried that for a long time.
Did you?
Yeah.
And do you still have it?
No.
The picture?
No.
And so, so then, when you were there, you said you were there for a day, and it calmed down. What was going on the beach? Could you see it from where you were at?
We didn't have any heavy artillery in that first night, so the battleships were shooting over us and into the land inside to
Okay.
keep the Germans back.
Okay.
That saved us that first night or 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then, did the Germans start retreating?
Yeah, they started retreating after we got up on top of the hill and got some heavy artillery in. Well, then they started backing off. We established what they call a beachhead.
Now, this might be a simple question, but just, out of curiosity, what, know, during all this time, from the time you got off the boat, the time you crossed the beach, you spent the night, how did you eat? What did you have food with you?
We
Or
had D-bars, which was a chocolate bar full of minerals and vitamins. And we had that the first couple of days.
that's all?
Chocolate bar, yeah.
And then you had a canteen of water or something?
Yeah, we had our canteen with water in it, yeah.
And then you were soaked, but that dried out. And then
We wore the clothes until they dried up.
okay, and then and so you must have had your boots on and everything when you were swimming in the water and across the sand, right?
Yeah.
And then so you spent the first night there, and then what happened after that?
Well, I stayed in that tent that night, and then we got up top of the hill where there wasn't a trench. We had to dig what we call a foxhole,
Okay.
where we get down below the level of the ground in case there was a artillery shell or something that wouldn't wipe you out.
When you after that first night, when you went up on the hill, when you went up on the top of the peak,
That was the second day.
okay, the second day, what did you see? Were there like camps? Were there U.S. or Allied camps everywhere? Or what did you see?
Well, the first thing I seen was an airplane that had to land with its wheels up, evidently it got shot down. One of our fighters, the P-47
Wow.
Thunderbolt, and but there was no one in it. It looked good to me. You could be interested in airplanes.
Yeah.
But anyway, they had a medical tent set up on top of the hill.
Were there hundreds or thousands of U.S. or Allied troops or men or?
By then there was a lot of Allied troops up there, yeah.
Okay.
Mostly Americans there on Omaha Beach. All
Yeah.
Americans.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
And the opposition, there was a couple of snipers there that Germany brought in, Japanese in there sniping.
Really?
Yeah, but mostly the snipers didn't live too long.
No. No. Did they have like on the borders? Did they have guards? Or I mean, how did you secure that area? How was it secure so you knew that it was
Well,
safe?
one area kind of overlapped the other. They didn't have any separation deal that way.
Okay.
Where we overlapped the British. Why that didn't happen until 2-3 days later, at least.
Okay. So how long did you stay up on this top?
Well, we were on top then. Well, we established the beachhead until we broke out of that area, which was about a month later.
Okay. And during that month, what did you yourself do during the day?
Well, we were starting then to put out the maps for the artillery to move forward with the tanks, and so we were putting out some digital maps, they call them, which would make a copy for the divisions to what road to use. That's why we used to go up and reconnoiter the roads to see if they were passable. Sometimes we could get ahead of the infantry that way, which was kind of
Scary.
dangerous.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And so, before we get that far, when you were working on these maps, and you were there for about a month and a half. Now, at night you slept down in these foxholes. Um, During the day, you worked on the maps. What else did you do?
Well, sometimes we worked at night on the map.
Okay.
Within a tent that couldn't be showing any light, of course, outside.
And they had meals for you to eat.
We had K rations then, which came in the box, more or less.
What were all the men doing at that time? I mean, were they all, for a month, what did these men do all day long? Did they play cards? Did they?
Oh, no. Well, some did, I guess. I didn't play cards, so I never did. But they weren't doing much playing. All they're doing is digging holes and saving their skin, really.
Yeah,
Just trying to stay low.
Okay. Just keep the camp going.
Well, it wasn't no camp, really. It was just a mass of men spread out. That's what it
Wow.
first.
Wow.
They did set up a headquarters camp, a couple of those,
Okay.
different sections set up their own. We had engineering sections, so we set up ours.
And you said that you started to go into how you'd go out and check the roads, and you guys would get ahead of the infantry, and then come back. Well, when did you finally break free and go?
Well, about a month later, when we broke out of the beachhead and started moving nearly every day we moved. So we'd have to dig a foxhole every night. A new one.
And where were you heading towards? Did you know?
Well, we knew pretty well because we were working on the map end of it.
Okay.
We knew we were going out to Salo, and from there we're going to go south and then east, start going east to Falais. And so then stay 2 days in one place, but most of the time we was moving a little bit every day.
And do you have any stories to tell us about that? Did you encounter any French? Is there anything that you can remember that you can tell us while you were moving down?
Well, that one spot where we kept getting hit by German artillery when we went down through a valley and found out that there was a lady that walked out on a hilltop, and it was a signal to the Germans that we were going through this valley. And when they found out that she was a culprit doing the dirty work, why they got a sharpshooter with a telescopic sight and took her out. And that took care of that for that day or week, really.
I don't know if this.
That's just a small incident outside the fifth corps headquarters.
Yeah. And I don't know if this correlates to it at all, but I know that one time you had mentioned something about a bridge and pontoons. Did you guys have to ever build one of those when you were actually over there?
Yeah,
or did you cross them? Or?
The engineers connected with Fifth Corps did, but I myself didn't do any over there.
Okay.
And I would have if I'd have stayed in my old outfit, but
Okay.
I didn't.
Okay. Yeah, I know you'd mentioned that sometime ago, but I couldn't remember exactly. All this time, did you get letters home? Were you contacting?
We could write once in a great while, but not for a while after we went in on the days, and nobody was writing me letters.
Yeah.
Then,
Yeah, I didn't have time.
no.
Okay, so you're going along now. When you're moving day after day, what are you doing? Walking through fields, walking down roads.
We rode trucks most of the time.
Okay.
When we moved up.
Okay.
And when we went out looking at the roads that we were going to use or make maps of, we took a Jeep then.
Did you encounter the Germans at all, or did you ever come across any, or when you were moving like this,
Come across who?
the Germans or anything?
Oh.
Was it pretty? I mean, was it pretty quiet as you moved along?
Any Germans we met usually were coming out with their hands up, surrendering, that way.
And then what did you do with them if they surrendered?
Well, they had a compound with a fenced in that they put the Germans in. They didn't mind because they got better food then than they got in the German army. Probably.
And they were alive.
Yeah.
So then, where was your next stop?
Well, we didn't make any real big stop till we got up to Yupon in December.
they get supplies to you all this time?
By truck. They come up by truck.
Okay.
Now, we went into Paris the night it was liberated. That was a wild town that night.
Do you want to tell us anything about? Can you tell us anything about that?
Yeah, we went down, took a command car, and went down by the Eiffel Tower and the Arctic Triumph, rode around, and a couple of the smokers that smoked cigarettes, they tore open a pack and threw them out to the people, and they went after them like a bunch of pigeons. And then we headed out back to the school that we were billeted in, but we was going the wrong direction. We got stopped by a U.S. correspondent, and we told him what school we're in. He said, "You're going the wrong way." He said, "The front line's 2 blocks."
Oh my gosh.
So we turned around and went back to the
So what?
way.
So can you tell us anything more like what Paris was like that night? Were they partying? Were they?
Oh, yeah, they're just drinking and partying all night long.
Yeah, yeah.
The champagne and the wine flowed.
It came out from
I
the
had
cellars.
a little glass of wine, but not a lot.
So about what time, how late did you stay there? About what time did you head back to
Oh,
the
we
school?
left the next day.
No, I mean, what time did you leave Paris to go back to the school?
Wow, from downtown.
Yeah,
to Triumph.
yeah. How late did you
that
stay there?
It was about 5 in the afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you went back at a
It
reasonable
was
time.
daylight. Yeah.
Okay. And so you only spent one more night at that school.
Yeah. We spent one night, and then the next day we moved out.
Well, I have to back up again. When you said that you were there when Paris was liberated, did you guys get there just as the after the troops had been through, or?
Germans were supposed to blow it up, but they didn't. They had to take off so fast that they left the place.
Was there any resistance from
There
the
was
Germans?
some snipers left back. Yeah.
But once the Germans saw the Allies coming in,
Oh, yeah.
they just took off.
When they marched down by thousands, so they more or less knew that it was gone.
Now, did you see any of that, or were you part of the marching, or
And
were
I
you
saw
back?
some of the snipers
Okay.
they were up on the top of the buildings mostly.
But I mean, when they were marching through Paris and the Allies took Paris back, were you there when that happened, or were you back at the school?
Well, I was right down there on the Arctic Triumph when they made the big march through town.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And so then,
They showed that in the news while I was down there on the edge of the watching
in the Jeep, like a parade.
Yeah.
And so you went back at 5 o'clock. You went back to there, and then you guys left.
Yeah, then we moved out, went by truck,
Okay.
moved out maybe 2 miles, 3 miles further beyond Paris. You got a lot of time on
Yeah.
that.
I gotta make sure.
5 hours long or better.
Okay, and so what happened next? Did you go anywhere? What did you do? Did you stop anywhere? What can you tell us?
We'd move up nearly every day. Every 1 or 2 days we moved.
Okay.
So we had to dig another foxhole.
And tell us what the foxholes were like when you were sleeping there.
Oh, some were, you put a little pup in over so you'd stay dry. And sometimes you'd have a visitor, maybe a mouse or snake, I don't know, depending on, they like it to get warm too, you know.
And what was the longest time you ever went without sleep?
Well, one time we was moving every day, quite a ways, and it was probably a couple of hour drive. Then we'd dig a foxhole, and I was working nights on maps. We'd have to reconnoiter a road, maybe, or a passage, come back and make maps. We were working all night. And then the next day we'd move out again, so I wouldn't get no sleep that day. And unless I could get a wink on a ride in the truck, which was very good. So I think I went about 4 days and nights without sleep.
Wow.
I finally fell over sleeping,
Wow.
standing up.
Wow.
Fell over and didn't know it.
You needed some sleep. Okay, so anyhow, so now we're back on the trail again, and what?
Yeah, then we're back heading towards Germany,
Okay,
toward the Rhine River, really.
okay,
Well, before that, though, we had the Battle of the Bulge.
okay. What can
We
you
were
tell?
in Eupen, Germany then, and we were on the northern pivot point of the battle. And all the Germans were going through east, which was south of us. We stayed there, though. We had a infantry division, a part of a division up there by us, and they dropped in a couple of paratroopers that were dressed in American uniforms, but they didn't have the password. They changed the password every day, and so they found out that they were American, and so they captured those two. Maybe there's 3 or 4, I
And uh, and so where did you go from there? Or was there anything else you wanted to tell us about the Battle of the Bulge?
Then we went after the Battle of the Bulge. We went toward the Rhine River.
Wait, I have a question. During the Battle of the Bulge, were you involved at all? What did you do?
Well, right after that, we started doing maps again.
Okay.
Because we were starting to move forward.
Okay.
Whenever we were ready to move, why they had to have
the map.
The divisions used to have a map of which road to use.
Okay.
And that's where we came in. We had to put those out.
Okay.
And then we were moving pretty fast. So we hit the Rhine River and we lucked out when we got the Megan Bridge. They didn't get blown up. And there we used our 34th engineers. I think they put up a pontoon bridge just south of that bridge, so finally fell in. And that's the bridge that I went over on.
Okay, I think that's the one you had told me about before.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
That's the one I crossed the Rhine River.
Okay.
And of course, by then I think all the Germans knew it was about over with.
I know you told me a story once about a bridge where you were underneath the bridge and you heard troops going
Checking
over.
out a road.
Uh-huh.
I went up with Captain Lee, which was, he had his dad was the general, and he was a pretty daring guy himself for a captain. He was about 5 years older than I was, I guess. I was 26 and he was about 30, 31. And so he dropped me off to check out a bridge, see how if it would take certain weights. And he said he was going up the road further. And while I was under there, it was getting dusk then. And I heard some tanks and talking coming up the road, and I didn't know whether it was our stuff or the enemy. So I stayed under the bridge, and of course, even when I finally found out it was our tanks, I didn't want to go jump out
Yeah.
and have them shoot me down, so I just kind of stayed there. The guys were coming in behind the tanks, our other soldiers, and I just kind of filtered with them. And so they didn't even know that I was there before they got there.
Wow.
And finally, this Captain Lee came shot back in his jeep. Wherever he went way up front, come fact, they picked me up. We did it for him. So then we went back and put maps out on that road for the rest of the division.
Wow. So after you crossed the Rhine, what did you do then?
We've done the similar stuff, except
Okay.
we were heading in for Czechoslovakia.
Okay.
And being we were moving faster then, we didn't have to dig a hole every day,
Okay.
which was kind of nice.
And now, when did you come? I know you mentioned to me, and this could be, we could put this later in the story, but you told me that you came across a concentration camp.
Yeah, that, we did that, and that was Buchenwald,
Okay.
where the ovens, they used ovens to get rid of the bodies. They were still hot.
Wow. Wow.
It was that fast that they'd have to pull out.
And you took pictures, you said. You had a camera with you.
Pictures, I had an old camera I picked up somewhere, and a film, and I took pictures of people that were getting tortured and all that, the bodies, the dead bodies. But then when I left the camp, they took that away from me and
Wow.
stripped the film out, so I didn't get any pictures taken.
Is there anything you can tell us about that you remember in particular?
Barracks where we put 60 men, and they put 1,500 men.
Wow.
In tiers of just sleeping over one top of one another.
When you went to this camp, were there any people alive?
There was quite a few of them still alive, but some of them couldn't move. They were just sitting on the floor.
Yeah.
And those that could move were ones that got better food probably and was doing some labor for them there in the camp. And they had or some lamps there that was made out of tattooed human skin. If you can believe how deplorable they really got.
And all the Germans were cleared out when you got there, right?
All the officials were gone. There was some collaborators there that worked with those Germans. The people that still could get around, they knew who they were, and they more or less took care of them pretty fast.
Oh, I bet. I bet.
They had shower, what they call the shower room, but it was where they put the people in, and then they turned the gas on instead of the shower.
Wow. Did
Where
you
they
see
had
that?
a gas
Did you
Sure.
see that?
I saw
They,
So
they, so they allowed you to walk around and witness all this.
we couldn't give them anything to eat because
They couldn't handle
all
it.
we had was maybe some candy bars
And their,
and rations then.
and their systems probably couldn't handle it. Yeah. Yeah. Did you talk to any of those survivors?
I don't remember talking to them.
Uh,
Most of them were looks of foreign or
out of it.
Jewish
Yeah.
people, that a lot of Polish too down there.
About how many people do you think were? How many survivors did you see? About how many?
In the camp,
Yeah. Approximately.
probably 1,000 to 300.
Wow. Wow. And did you see piles of bodies that were
Yeah,
that
saw,
they hadn't been able to
I
get
saw
rid of?
piles of bodies that were 12, 15 foot high, waiting to go through the oven.
Wow.
They,
Wow.
they couldn't take care of them.
Fast enough. So it was 12 to 15 feet high, and how long?
Oh,
How big did this pile?
fill a room about 15 by 30, something like that.
Wow. Wow. Unbelievable.
It just blow your mind to see it.
Wow. Wow. Okay, so we'll go back to where we were with our story before in Czechoslovakia. You're headed back to Czech.
We were moving so fast then that there wasn't much fighting going on because the Germans were giving up so fast.
Mhm.
And we got into Pilsen, Czechoslovakia. That's where we met the Russians coming west from the other direction.
Okay.
And of course, the war was just about over with that, and that was in May.
Mhm.
And the war was over May 8th.
Okay.
So,
Did you along this way, along this whole route where you were traveling and making maps and everything, did you yourself ever have to get into combat? Did you have to ever have to use your
not
gun?
on the front line, no.
But I mean, when you were out ahead of the infantry or whatever,
Oh,
were you ever forced to use your gun?
no,
No.
I never got caught.
That's good. That's good.
But I had it with me in case I had to.
So you were in Czechoslovakia when the war ended.
Yeah.
And when it ended, how did you find out? Who told you, or how did you know?
Over a loudspeaker from the headquarters.
Did everybody just cheer and
Oh,
scream
yeah.
and?
Well, then the lights started going on,
Uh-huh.
turning the lights back on.
Oh, at night.
Otherwise, it was always in the dark.
Right. Right. Right.
took a couple days before some of the Germans finally gave up. So I guess up in the hills.
When they dropped the bombs, did you know about that? Did they tell you what was going on? Did you hear about that?
When
when they dropped the Hiroshima and
no, I was out of service by then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, see, after the war was over in Europe, I stayed with my old outfit and got back to the States right away.
Okay.
But they were slated to go to the Pacific, so I didn't want that.
Okay.
And I had what they call points because of all my time in service. So I got out of my outfit and into a bunch of them that were coming back to the States.
Okay.
So we went back to France from Czechoslovakia by airplane. They came and picked us up, flew us back, and then we took train down to Marseille. That's down on the Mediterranean. And then we flew out of there on B-17 bombers that had been stripped out and put seats in it.
So you were in this bomber on wooden seats, right?
Yeah, they were just along the edge of the sides of the bomber.
And how long were you in that plane? How long did you sit like that?
Across the Mediterranean to Casablanca.
How many hours was that?
Oh, that was, I suppose, 3 hours.
Okay, not too bad. And so then where'd you go from there?
From Casablanca, we stayed there at a camp they had set up. About a week. We were there for about a week. And then they picked us up again and took us down to Dakar, Africa. That was on the west coast of Africa. But we went down there in the B-17 over the desert there, in the Sahara Desert. You could see the sand down below you.
Wow.
We went down to Dakar, and there we got into a C-54 4-engine hospital ship.
Okay.
And they were just taking some of the wounded that wasn't wounded real bad, and they can keep walking around. And we went across the ocean to Brazil, Natal, Brazil,
Wow.
and went into there and stayed there about a week.
And all this time, had you ever notified Grandma you were coming home?
No.
Okay, so you're in Brazil.
I'd have beat any male anyway.
So
when I out, and there we filled up with gas and took her right off again and went up to Puerto Rico.
Boy.
We had lunch in Puerto Rico,
Uh-huh.
and took off after lunch and went to Miami, Florida. Landed in Miami.
What was that like when you finally got back to
It
the
was
States?
coming in, and it was on a C-54 commercial from Puerto Rico.
Mm-hmm.
And when somebody said, "Oh, there's Miami," and they pointed out the side window, everybody got up to look over that side. The captain came out of their cabin up front and said, "Get back in your seats." The plane started
Uh-huh.
to veer off to the angle.
Did people cheer and everything because they were so excited to see the U.S. again?
Oh, everybody, I got out and kissed the land.
Did ya? Did ya? I would too.
And from
Wow.
there, then, of course, everyone was headed for the phones to call home.
Mm-hmm. So did you call?
And I called to you.
Oh, you did. So she
Yeah.
knew from that point.
Yeah, I didn't get to you, though, right away. I got a neighbor,
Uh-huh.
and I talked to her after that.
Uh-huh.
And
What did she say when you said? What did you say? Do you remember?
I just said I'm back in Florida,
Uh-huh.
back in the States.
Uh-huh.
And of course, that was good news to her.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And from there, we took a train up to Chicago,
Okay.
and that's where I got discharged up
In Chicago.
in Chicago.
And then did Grandma meet you in Chicago, or did you?
They
Okay.
gave me bus money, and I took a bus back to Lake Geneva,
Uh-huh.
and they met me at the bus depot in Lake Geneva.
And what happened there?
My folks were there, and Bob Dunn's folks, the one that stood up for us,
Uh-huh.
I think his folks were there,
Uh-huh.
and Bob Dunn's sister was there, and of course Tia was there,
Mm-hmm. And
but none of Tia's folks were there.
okay. And did they bring you anything to the bus stop?
Not then,
No.
no, but they did at first when I went through, from when I got inducted, I went through Delaware, and then they brought me green drapes.
When you left. When
Yeah.
you left for the service. Okay. Okay. Green grapes.
But anyway, I was a month from May 8th to July, I think it was the 18th I got out. That's how long it took me to get home and get this.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
But I got discharged before the war in Europe or Pacific was over.
Okay. Okay.
That wasn't over till August.
Okay. Okay. And so you were home by then, and
Yeah.
that's So, so you guys left the bus stop, and where'd you go from there? When you and Grandma and everybody, you got in the car, and where'd you go? Or whose car were you in? Or
I think it was Gwenny had a car that she loaned to Tia.
yeah, I asked that because I talked to Gwenny, and Gwenny always laughs because she loaned the car to Tia to pick up you.
And
then Marv came home and they didn't have a car.
Marv came home the next day and he was out of the car.
Yeah. Marv came home and they didn't have a car. So then where did you and Grandma live?
Well, Liz had a rental house that it was empty and Delavan there. We stayed in there for a few days.
Okay.
And my folks then were living in Rockford, so we went down there after that.
And at this point you didn't have to work yet. You didn't have the job or anything.
I went back to Weisner's studio. I'd left it 4 years earlier. He said, well, he says, I'll have to see how good you are after 4 years being away.
Well, you had a lot of practice.
Yeah, he said, maybe you ought to do some work first and then I'll see what you're worth. And I said, well, I gotta have some idea of getting some money.
Yeah.
And I said, first though, I'll take a few days off. I'll take a couple of weeks vacation.
Yeah. You
So
deserve
that's how I came down to the Quad City area.
for vacation?
So I came down here because Tia's cousin worked at the U.S. Engineers and they make maps. And he said, I'll get you in right away. So I came down here and I went to work there first.
Okay. And what was her cousin's name? Do you remember?
What?
The cousin? Do you remember his name?
Amos Archabo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He worked there for quite a while, so he was well known down there.
So you worked there. Where did you live while you worked there?
We lived in an apartment.
Okay.
Down in Rock Island.
And how much did the apartment cost to rent?
$10 a week
$10 a
per
week.
apartment.
And was it 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom?
It was 1 bedroom and a share and a kitchen and living room to combine.
That you shared with somebody?
Yeah, and a share of that.
Okay. And how long did you work there at the U.S. Engineers, and how much did you make?
Oh, I worked there for 6 months.
And how much did you make there?
I made $56 every 2 weeks.
Okay. Okay.
Minus taxes.
Okay. And then when you left there, what did
doing some freelance work for Deere and Company, and they wanted to hire me. So I left there and went and worked directly for Deere and Company, and they had an art department.
And during that time, you must have had Skip, right? Skip must have come along during that time.
Skip came along just about that time when I started working Deere in April.
Because you said Grandma had him just about 9 months after you got home from the service.
The doctor told her that Skip was going to be born a certain date, and she said he couldn't do that because I haven't been home that months.
Oh. So then you worked at Deere, and how long did you work at Deere?
I worked at Deere 8 years.
Okay. And while you were working at Deere, you moved out of the apartment.
Yeah, we bought a house.
Okay. And where was the house? And how did you buy the house?
The house was on 17th Street up by the Rock Island asylum up there, and near the school, right near the high school.
Mm-hmm.
And Tia's cousin found out about it and told us about it, and we bought it without any down payment, which was great because I didn't have any down payment.
And it's because you're a veteran too, right?
With being a veteran, I got the first GI loan in Rock Island,
Wow.
which was 4% interest.
Wow.
And we bought the house and paid $12 appraisal fee on it and moved in.
Wow.
That was it.
Wow. Wow. And
We
then,
bought the house for $4,500.
wow. Wow. And then had many more children. Jack and
We had Jack a year and a month later, or more than that, a year, April to September.
after Skip, and then you
Then we had Becky come along, your mom, 1950, April. And Becky came along in April 1954.
and you still were on 17th Street at this time.
Still on 17th Street.
And were you still working at Deere? You must have been.
No,
No?
56, I opened my own studio
Okay. Okay. 56.
when Jimmy was born.
Okay. And so then you opened your own studio. When did you leave 17th Street?
Well, we didn't leave there until course, by then I was fairly well established in my studio, as you would know.
And Grandma was spending it as fast as you could make it.
Sometimes.
And so mainly because this tape is about up to that point, is there anything more you would like to tell us about growing up in your childhood,
Well,
or the war, or after the war?
after the war, I built a number of boats,
Okay.
which was new to me, but they were pretty nice. They worked out good. We bought with Marvin Zenzo, Gwynny's husband, we bought land in Lauderdale Lakes in Wisconsin and built a cottage on the lake up there, two of us.
And how much did you pay for the land, and how much did you pay for the cottage?
It's $1,500 for the lot up there, 50 foot by 150, right on the water, and built a nice year-round cottage, 3-bedroom cottage, so that's,
2 bath.
yeah, insulated. And I had 1, 2, 3 boats there on that piers there by the lake that I made. And then in the meantime, in 1963 or 4, I learned how to fly.
Wow.
That was something new for me.
Wow.
So I took up flying lessons from a Dunn camp, which was a good instructor.
And then you went into like co-ownership of a plane, right?
Yeah, we bought into the plane, $1,000 you could buy into the airplane, and then we could fly it real cheap that way.
You'd fly up to your
I'd fly to Wisconsin
summer home.
number of times,
Wow.
fly up on a weekend and come back on a Sunday afternight or Monday morning.
Back to these boats that you made. How long did you take to make those boats, and what kind of boats were they?
Well, the first one didn't take long. That was a little 13-foot outboard that I car top that I could put on top of the car.
Okay.
That was a lightweight. That probably took me 6 weeks or so.
Okay.
And then I went big. I built a 16-foot runabout out of mahogany and oak framing.
Inboard, outboard?
Well, that was straight inboard
Okay.
that I started in March, middle of March, and I put it in the water the 4th of July.
And where did you make this boat?
I made that in my teed off because we didn't do anything for 3.5 months.
I bet you once she got that boat in the water, though, she was happy.
Once she got boating, that was okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And then what was the last boat you made?
The last one was made in 1965. Made that here in Milan. That was the inboard outdrive.
Okay.
That was named Tia 2. That was the best boat of all of them. She taught the lake up there how to ski.
Yeah.
Everybody
And
on the bay.
and Jack and Skip taught people how to race.
Yeah. Well, Skip did. He's the one that was driving.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
He was beating the regular inboards because he was quicker around the pylons, I guess.
Uh-huh.
The buoys.
Wow.
They finally disqualified him after the third race.
Wow. So is there anything else you want to share with us?
Well, we learned how to ski, and I learned how to ski, and
Water ski?
Tia learned how to ski, and everybody behind her learned how to ski.
Yeah. I learned how to
Her
ski.
mother and Beth
Taught me how to swim, how to ski, how to everything.
She had a lot of girls up there, the kids did.
Yep. Lots of friends.
Yeah, I'd go up on weekends and
She'd stay up all
come
summer.
down. She'd stay up there during the summer.
Yeah. 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 Wow.
So that was good times.
Yep. Yep. It all turned out for the best.
Because I made it across Omaha Beach.
You made it across Omaha Beach. Thank God.
Okay.
Okay.